The knife was already at her throat when Sarah Mitchell smiled. 3 men. 1 woman. They thought they knew how this would end. But what they didn't know was that the quiet librarian bleeding on the warehouse floor had killed men in 12 countries. And tonight, they will become unlucky number 13. Hey, real quick, comment your city below. I'm always amazed by how many places these stories reach. And if you're into true stories with real emotion, make sure you're subscribed. Sarah Mitchell had been a ghost for 3 years, not dead. Just invisible. The kind of invisible that comes from spending 6 years as a Navy SEAL in places that don't exist, doing things that never happen. For a country that would never acknowledge her service, the transition was supposed to be smooth, honorable discharge, trauma counseling, a fresh start in Portland, Oregon, where rain washed away memories and coffee shops didn't ask questions about the scars on your hands. She'd chosen the quietest life possible. Library clerk. Studio apartment. Plants that somehow stayed alive despite her frequent nightmares. She watered them every morning at 6, the same time she used to run drills in Coronado. Normal, safe, boring, until the night Marcus Webb walked into her library. He didn't look dangerous. Salt and pepper hair, expensive suit, warm smile that reached his eyes. He asked about rare books on military history, and something in Sarah's gut twisted. A warning. The same instinct that had saved her life in Kandahar, but she ignored it because she was normal now. Civilians didn't trust their gut about well-dressed men who liked books. Civilians smiled back and pulled up the catalog system and made small talk about the weather. You seem like you know a lot about military tactics, Marcus said, leaning against the desk. His cologne was expensive. His watch cost more than her car. I read a lot, Sarah replied, keeping her tone light. Her fingers typed search terms, but her peripheral vision tracked his hands. Old habits? Just read? Or lived it? The question hung between them like smoke. Sarah's smile never wavered. Do I look like someone who lived it? Marcus studied her with eyes that suddenly seemed much older than his face suggested. That's exactly what worries me. He left without checking out a book. Sarah's hands didn't shake until 10 minutes later. That night, she broke her own rule and logged into a secure network she'd sworn never to touch again. Dark web, military channels, places where Sarah Mitchell didn't exist. But Petty Officer Reaper Mitchell was still legend. She typed Marcus, Webb's name into 3 different databases. All 3 came back blank. Not clean. Blank. As in scrub it. As in someone with serious resources had erased him. Sarah closed the laptop and stared at her reflection in the black screen. 32 years old. 5'6", 130 pounds. Brown hair that needed cutting. Freckles across her nose that made strangers think she was younger than she was. She looked exactly like what she worked 3 years to become. Nobody. But somebody had found her anyway. The next morning, Marcus returned with friends. Sarah saw them before they entered. 2 men in a black SUV across the street, windows tinted, engine running. Classic Overwatch position. 3rd man approaching from the west entrance, hands in pockets, gate 2 measured. 4 total. Tactical formation. Professional. She had maybe 90 seconds. Sarah walked to the back office where her manager, Beth, was sorting return books. Sweet Beth, who brought homemade cookies every Friday and talked about her grandchildren with photos Sarah pretended to enjoy. Beth, I need you to leave through the basement exit right now. Beth looked up confused. What? Sarah, we have patrons. I know. But there's a gas leak. I can smell it. We need to evacuate immediately, and you need to call 911 from outside. Don't argue. Please. Something in Sarah's voice, something from the place she kept locked away, made Beth's eyes widen. The older woman grabbed her purse and moved faster than Sarah had ever seen. 60 seconds. Sarah walked back to the main floor. Marcus stood near the entrance, flanked by 2 men in casual clothes that didn't match their military haircuts. The 4th would be covering the rear exit. Mr. Webb, Sarah said pleasantly. Back so soon? Did you decide on that Churchill biography? Marcus's smile was gone. You know why I'm here. Actually, I don't. Would you mind explaining? Preferably before my manager calls the police about the fake gas leak I just reported. One of the men moved his hand toward his jacket. I wouldn't, Sarah said softly. Security cameras. 18 patrons. 3 cops have coffee 2 blocks away every morning at this time. Whatever you think you need from me isn't worth a public incident. Marcus raised a hand, stopping his associate. You're right. This isn't the place. But we need to talk, Sarah, about what you saw in Mosul. The name hit her like voltage. Mosul, Operation Phantom Thunder, 2019. The mission that didn't exist. The one that sent her team into an abandoned hospital where intelligence said a high-value target was hiding. The mission where everything went wrong. I don't know what you're talking about, Sarah said. Your entire team was killed. Convenient story. Except we both know 3 of them weren't killed by insurgents. They were executed. Single shots, professional, and you were the only survivor. Sarah's blood turned to ice. You need to leave. We have evidence, Sarah. You betrayed your team. Sold information to Russian intelligence. Those men died because of you. Marcus stepped closer, voice dropping. But we're willing to make a deal. Tell us who you're working for now. Give us the network, and we'll make this disappear. Otherwise, every agency in the alphabet will know by tomorrow morning. Your face will be on every news channel. The woman who murdered her brothers in arms. The world tilted, because it was almost true. Sarah had killed 3 of her teammates that night. 2 bullets each, professional, clean, but not because she betrayed them, because they betrayed her. She discovered it by accident. Overheard conversation. Encrypted file on a laptop left unattended. Her team leader, Rodriguez, and 2 others have been selling classified intel for 18 months. Locations, asset names, operation timings. People had died because of them. An entire network in Syria collapsed. 12 local informants executed by ISIS. And when Sarah confronted them in that hospital, when she demanded they turn themselves in, Rodriguez had smiled and reached for his weapon. She'd been faster. The real insurgents showed up 20 minutes later. Sarah barely escaped. She'd written the official report from a hospital bed, leaving out the part about executing her teammates. Called it enemy fire. Friendly fire. Chaos of combat. The Navy believed her because she was Reaper. Because her record was spotless. Because the alternative was too ugly. But someone knew. I'm not who you think I am, Sarah said quietly. Then prove it. Come with us. Tell us everything. Make this right. Sarah looked at Marcus Webb and his men and realized with crystal clarity that they weren't government. The tell was subtle, the way they positioned themselves, the weapons they carried. The desperation behind Marcus's professional mask. They were private, contractors, maybe working for the same people who paid. Rodriguez, and they wanted to make sure Sarah never told the real story. Okay, she said, but not here. There's a warehouse district near the river. Industrial area, private. We can talk there tonight. 9 p.m. Marcus studied her. You'll come alone? Will you? His smile returned. Of course. He was lying. So was she? Sarah spent the afternoon preparing to die. Not dramatically. Practically. She cleaned her apartment. Wrote letters she'd never send. Watered her plants one last time. Called her sister in California and had a normal conversation about nothing. Memorizing her voice. Then she went to the storage unit she'd rented under a false name and opened Foot Locker she hadn't touched in 3 years. Body armor. Light and flexible. Designed for speed. Tactical knife. Glock 19 with custom grip. Extra magazines. Med kit. Night vision monocular. And the thing she'd hoped never to wear again. Her dog tags. Sarah held them in her palm. The metal was warm from being stored. They felt heavier than she remembered. Petty Officer Sarah Mitchell. Service. Number. Classified. Blood type. O positive. Religion. None. She put them on. The warehouse was exactly what she'd expected. Abandoned textile factory. Broken windows. Multiple entry points. Perfect kill box if you knew what you were doing. Sarah arrived at 7 p.m. 2 hours early. She spent the time setting up. Not weapons, she wasn't planning to fight. She was planning to run. Escape routes mapped. Backup transportation stage. Evidence uploaded to secure servers with dead man switches. If she didn't check in every 12 hours, everything she knew about Mosul, about Rodriguez, about the corruption she discovered, would automatically send to 60 different journalists and 3 congressional oversight committees, mutually assured destruction. She just needed to survive long enough to tell Marcus. At 9 p.m. exactly. Headlights swept the warehouse. Not one vehicle. 5. Sarah counted from her position in the rafters. 20 men. Military-grade equipment. Thermal imaging. Drone support. They weren't here to talk. They were here to erase a problem. Marcus entered last, speaking into a radio. Spread out. She's here somewhere. Mitchell's a ghost, but ghosts leave footprints. Find them. Sarah's heart hammered against her ribs. 20 trained operators versus 1 woman in an empty warehouse. The math was simple. She was going to die here, unless she changed the equation. Sarah pulled out her phone and made a call she'd hoped never to make. It rang 3 times. This is Officer Chun, Portland PD. Who's calling? My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm a witness in a federal investigation. I'm currently at the Riverside Textile Warehouse, and there are 20 armed men trying to kill me. I'm former military. I'm armed. I will defend myself. Please send everyone. Ma'am, stay calm. Can you? Sarah hung up and smashed the phone. Now it was a race. Police response time versus how long she could survive. She gave herself 4 minutes. Sarah. Marcus's voice echoed through the warehouse. We know you're here. We just want to talk. Come down. Nobody needs to get hurt. She didn't respond. Let them search. Let them waste time. 3 minutes. The first man found her trail. Boot prints and dust leading toward the east stairwell. He signaled to his team and moved forward. Rifle raised. Sarah dropped from the rafters behind him. Her knife found the gap between his vest plates. He went down silently, 1 down. 19 to go. She took his radio and rifle. Neither would help for long, but information was survival. Contact. East stairwell. The radio exploded with chatter. 2 minutes. Sarah ran. Not a weight award. She needed to herd them, keep them clustered, prevent them from spreading out. Footsteps pounded behind her. Flashlight beams swept the darkness. She ducked into a side room and waited. 2 men entered. Weapons raised. Sarah shot the first one in the knee. The second one spun toward her, and she put 2 rounds in his vest. The impact knocked him back, and she was on him before he recovered. Knife finding throat. 3 down. The radio screamed. Multiple casualties. She's armed. Authorization for lethal force. 1 minute. Sarah's luck ran out in a corridor lined with broken machinery. They caught her in crossfire. 4 men, professional angles, no escape. The first bullet hit her vest. Felt like getting kicked by a horse. Second bullet grazed her shoulder, drawing blood. Third bullet missed. Sarah fired back, dropped 1 man. Then her rifle clicked empty. She drew her Glock. 2 more men came around the corner. This was it. The end. Just like she'd always known it would be, bleeding in some forgotten place. Dying for secrets nobody would remember. Sarah raised her weapon. And then the world exploded with sirens. Red and blue lights flooded through broken windows. Loudspeakers boomed. Portland police. Drop your weapons. This building is surrounded. The men hesitated. That single second of doubt was all Sarah needed. She ran, not toward the police. They'd have questions she couldn't answer. She ran toward the south wall where she'd staged a motorcycle. Crashed through a rotted door. mounted the bike. Engine roared to life. Behind her, she heard Marcus screaming orders, heard gunfire, heard chaos. Sarah didn't look back. She rode for 3 hours. Changed vehicles twice. Ditched her phone, her weapons, her identity. By dawn, she was on a bus heading east with cash, fake ID, and nothing else. Sarah Mitchell was dead. Again. 6 months later, in a small town in Montana, a woman named Jennifer Hayes opened a coffee shop. She was quiet, friendly, nobody special. She had a scar on her shoulder. She told people came from a hiking accident. She never talked about her past. And every morning at 6 a.m., she watered the plants on her windowsill and watched the street with eyes that never stopped calculating angles, exits, threats, because Marcus Webb was still out there. His organization was still active. The truth about Mosul was still buried. And Sarah Jennifer, whoever she was now, knew that someday they would find her again. But next time, she'd be ready. Next time. There would be no mercy. Because the thing about ghosts is that they're already dead. And dead women have nothing left to lose. The coffee shop door chimed. A man in an expensive suit walked in. Salt and pepper hair. Warm smile. Coffee, please, he said. Black. Jennifer's hand didn't shake as she poured. But under the counter, her other hand found the knife she'd taped there on opening day. Anything else? She asked pleasantly. The man smiled wider. Just coffee. For now. He sat by the window. Did it leave? Jennifer wiped down the counter and breathed slowly, the way they taught her in Bud S training. Control your heart rate. Control your breathing. Control the situation. She had 3 exits, 2 weapons, multiple scenarios. And this time, when they came for her, she wouldn't run. This time, she'd finish what she started in Mosul. This time, the ghosts would drag the guilty down with them. The man sipped his coffee and watched the street. Jennifer watched him, and the game began again, because some wars never end. They just change battlefields. And the warriors who fight them never get to stop. They only get to choose how they'll die. Sarah Mitchell had chosen long ago. Standing, fighting, taking as many of them with her as possible. The man stood up to leave, paused at the door. Good coffee, he said. I'll be back. I'll be here, Jennifer replied. It wasn't a promise. It was a threat. And as the door closed, as the morning sun streamed through dusty windows, as ordinary people went about their ordinary lives in this ordinary town, Jennifer Hayes checked her knife and smiled. Let them come. She was Reaper, and Reaper never miss. That's the end of today's story, but I hope it stays with you for a while. If something in it spoke to you, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and share your thoughts. It's your comments that keep me inspired to make the next one.